New introduction here. I want to get everybody's attention for what I feel will be a lucrative opportunity. It's the first ever NYSE marijuana IPO. We're making history here, and I feel this is just the first stepping stone in what is going to be the start of many IPOs on both the NASDAQ and the NYSE. I feel we're going to have a marijuana sector and marijuana ETFs in the future, and this is just step number one. If you are familiar with the industry, that's all I have to say. I know you're interested already. If this is new to you, this is going to be, in my opinion, the greatest financial opportunity in our lifetimes. This has never happened before. We have an established tens of billions dollar industry that the floodgates are going to open. It's becoming more and more legitimate legally, and this is just step number one. So Innovative Industrial Properties is the company. The ticker is IIPR. It is a real estate REIT that invests in medical marijuana facilities. And for this IPO, we have a new website, www.mjipo.com. I put together an hour of research video going through the filings, researching the company and the executives, and establishing a game plan, looking at some other IPOs and how they have traded. We're going to have a chat room with live Q&A during that day, Tuesday, November 22nd. And we'll also have the live webcam where I'll be showing our charts, going over, pointing out key support and resistance levels, looking at the volume that's coming in. I'm really looking forward to this opportunity. I hope you will join us. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get into the charts. Hello, Canadian marijuana fans. Doing another video again, and I'm not doing a US video because they are all very mean people. So I appreciate everybody that has been very nice for these videos. It's very interesting to watch that play out. But either way, very action-packed day today. First, let's go over what was happening. And I forget the name of the market maker system for the Canadians, but either way, they were seeing all kinds of volume and market orders that they have not seen before, and that's why they kept halting. Every time there was an influx of orders, they essentially had to say, stop everything, we need to catch up here, we're getting overrun, and we can't fill all these orders as they're coming in. So my partner Jason at TheChartGuys, he had a fun analogy where it was pretty much like the gym teacher was blowing the whistle at the game because all the kids were getting too rough and violent. Things needed to settle down a little bit, and that happened time and time again today. So it was essentially a nightmare day for them, and they're going to be making some changes to their system because this obviously can't happen every time big volume comes in. They're not used to this, and some changes will absolutely be made to their system and their software. All that's over my head in terms of what really goes into all of these orders coming in, but that is why we kept halting today. So we had a profit-taking day. We had huge volume. Volume climaxes often signal the top of an uptrend or the bottom of a downtrend. And people had, their plays in these Canadian tickers, and they're thinking, oh, I'm going long, I'm going to hold this for years. And then they start to see these swings, and that changes very quickly. And they start to say, okay, if I had sold up here, then I could have rebought with twice as many shares down here. And these volatile moves are really good at turning investors into traders because they want to capitalize on this volatility. So the video yesterday highlighted that the top would likely come after a morning push, and then things would completely do a 180 and turn around, and we'd be left with big upper wick showing profit taking. Now, I didn't expect it to happen today. I knew it was going to happen soon, but it played out perfectly in terms of the day after the video. And this is just a combination, me being able to not predict what was going to happen, but know what is most likely to happen. It's a combination of knowing the charts, watching the different indicators, and also seeing this all happen before. This all happened in the US names over the past 6 years multiple times. I've seen these big breakouts. I've seen the huge pullbacks that come with them. So it's a combination of experience and the charts, and anybody can learn these charts. It took me 4 months. I treated it like a full-time job. Every day I studied the charts, and I had it down like clockwork after those 4 months. And then over the past 6 years, I've just been building on that knowledge, and I'm learning something new every week as well. So the harder you run up, the harder you pull back. It's just that simple. That's the way the markets work. And today we hit the top. We'll zoom into the 5-minute time frame on some of these names to see how it actually played out on the shorter term time frames because today had so much action. But let's get into it. All the same tickers from yesterday's video. CGC, MT, ACB, APH, SPRWF, OGI. So we know CGC is a sector leader, and I was watching CGC the most and comparing it to SPRWF, and SL is the Canadian ticker there. And there was really a heads up. You saw the bearish action in CGC, and you had time to get out of SPRWF before that bearish action trickled over into the other individual laggard names. So just like it was a laggard on the breakout, it was a bit of a laggard on the breakdown, and there was that heads up signal. So we had a strong move all the way up to 1786. That is the top for now. We're not going to be near that level anytime soon, in my opinion. So it's best to accept that and move on. The upper Bollinger Band has been lost as support. It is no longer a breakout. That is now resistance. It's going to be higher and resistance again tomorrow. The bulls did defend psychological support at $10. So a nice little bounce off of that level. I think we're going to test that level again in the near-term future. This is just day number 1 of the pullback. If we see a red day tomorrow, it will confirm this bearish reversal candlestick. And I wouldn't be surprised, depending on how this all plays out, we need to watch the money flow. We need to watch the volume. But if we continue to pull back, I wouldn't be surprised to see CGC here down in the $8 to $9 range at some point next week. Tomorrow is going to be very telling. And if the bulls can hold $10 tomorrow, that will show some confidence, and that will be a good sign. But again, I just want to establish again, I don't expect CGC to be anywhere near $17 within the next couple of weeks. So it's going to be very interesting now to watch the U.S. sector and see if money starts coming out of Canada and going back into the U.S. We saw the money leave U.S. after the votes and come into these Canadian names. Now we're going to look for the opposite. Weekly time frame on CGC is a big bearish reversal inverted hammer. We have the long upper wick showing all that profit taking. The upper Bollinger Band is still support, but if we see a close here by the end of this week, we would be looking for a red week next week, because this candlestick indicates the odds of next week are significantly more likely to be red than it is to be green. So we'll see if this is how the shape firms up with 2 more trading days left to go. MT, big bearish engulfing candlestick, volume climax signaling the top, losing the upper Bollinger Band support. So you can see these correlations between all these names. And I think I highlighted the 3 gap up bearish reversal pattern that would be confirmed with a red day. Here's that bearish engulfing candlestick confirming that bearish 3 gap up pattern. Again, the bulls did buy the dip, very similar. 529 is a new support. The moving averages are going to continue to catch up to try and hold those levels. The last thing the bulls want to see tomorrow on all these names is bear volume. I don't think we're going to see anywhere near the volume we saw today, but they don't want to see bear volume that is higher than the bull volume on the days that were preceding today, because that would show weakness. MT on the weekly, bearish reversal, inverted hammer, same story. Volume climax on the weekly, potentially signaling the top. Might be a temporary top for now, but either way, looking for a pullback if we close here on the weekly time frame. ACB had a much more significant buying of the dip than those other two. It is still a bearish reversal candlestick. It's a crazy looking spinning top, almost a doji. What the upper wick and lower wick show when they're the same size, it shows indecision. And that indecision favors the bears after it's coming after a breakout. If it were coming after a breakdown and it were at the bottom of a downtrend, that indecision would favor the bulls. So a red day tomorrow will confirm this bearish reversal candlestick. The upper Bollinger Band will be support in the upper 270s tomorrow. Update these upper Bollinger Bands. For CGC and for MT, they're going to start the day as resistance. And for ACB, it's likely going to start the day as support. Just got a news alert, was checking if it was MT, and it was not. ACB on the weekly time frame, not much to see since the listing. Big upper wick of profit taking, we can clearly see that, but the daily time frame and the upper Bollinger Band is the most important thing to watch for the next 2 days going forward. Obviously, it's one of the most volatile names. Look at that trading range, pretty much a move up to 395 and then back down to 227, almost a 45% drop from the high to the low. So tons of volatility to be aware of in ACB. These are all going to be great day trading names. If you don't have experience day trading and charting, don't try and mess around with it. Paper trade, practice, but you need to learn technical analysis for a couple months at least before trying to day trade. But these ranges and volatility are a day trader's dream coming up these days, today being the first. So on APH, bearish reversal candlestick, we are still holding the upper Bollinger Band. So that is what's separating some of these names. The first two lost the upper Bollinger Band. The second two are holding their upper Bollinger Band, remaining in breakout mode. Same thing, volume climax, signaling the top. Bulls bought the dip a little bit. Red day losing the upper Bollinger Band would confirm the bearish reversal candlestick, and we'd be looking for a further pullback down to the 10-day moving average. That's my target on all these names. Aside from the low of yesterday, the low of today, It's the 10-day moving average, so keep an eye on those levels as well. So APH, holding the upper Bollinger Band, weekly time frame, inverted hammer, volume climax. You see the trend here. It's all the same. Correlation strong between these names, with CGC being the leader. So we'll see how the week ends. If it's here or worse, it is a bearish reversal candlestick that signals the odds of next week are likely to be red. SPRWF, bearish reversal doji, that's that indecision, still holding the upper Bollinger Band. And moving average support will be watched. We did hold the low of yesterday as well. And that's the first one that we've seen that has not broken the low of yesterday. I take that back. ACB did not as well. So ACB and SPRWF not breaking the low of Tuesday does show some strength. So we'll be watching that 110 support tomorrow. Bulls would like to hold that and keep the higher low pattern going. Upper Bollinger Band support is key to maintain from here on out. Weekly time frame, upper Bollinger Band rejecting the price again. We've gotten above this level multiple times this week, but we always end up back below it at 129. Need to close above 129 to break out on the weekly, and if we cannot do so, we're in a channel where we're bouncing off 10-week support, rejecting from upper Bollinger Band. Maybe that means we pull back and bounce off the 10-week moving average support again around the $1 area. Checking back in on OGI, this is the lead bear in the sense that the bearish reversal candlestick was yesterday. That's a bearish reversal hanging man, and we confirmed it today. So 2 red days in a row. That's the only one with 2 red days in a row. So maybe we'll see if OGI is going to be a lead indicator on the downward move. And we'll see if once OGI forms a bullish reversal candlestick, we'll see if some other names start to follow suit. But what we're looking for, I want to establish that none of these names are collapsing. Obviously, it's a huge pullback, but again, the harder you run up, the harder you fall. As long as we keep this higher low, longer term pattern, the bulls are absolutely in control of this trend. And right now, just looking at CGC, I would need to see a break of 706 to start being concerned about the longer term uptrend. We could pull back to $8 and then bounce and still be maintaining a perfectly healthy uptrend. These consolidation periods are normal and healthy on any uptrend. Again, it's just a lot more magnified and it looks a lot more brutal because of the strength to the upside originally. So OGI, red day, closing down near the low. 330 is support. The 10-day moving average will be in the low $3 range. And I am looking for further downside in OGI. It's a lot of bear volume, closed down near the low, showing that weakness. Very clear weak bearish reversal gravestone doji candlestick here on the weekly time frame. And again, volume climax. And this candlestick signals very likely, much more likely than not, that we see a red week next week to confirm this and consolidate. So that was a mouthful. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. And again, days like today bring out the emotion and bring out poor decision making. It's having the game plan established. If your game plan is going long in these names for a year or 2 years, then today means absolutely nothing to you. And if you're looking to trade and now you're saying, oh man, if there's going to be these kinds of swings, I want to sell and then reload and double up my shares, that might change your game plan. But being in control from those emotions is really important because, like I said, it makes bad decisions. Let's look at the 5-minute time frame for CGC.to today and look at when the big red flag came in. Very bullish start to the day, running up. We're going to go up forever. There's the top, and the big red flag is very obvious. The huge bear volume in 10 minutes, wiping out the entire hour and a half of upside. I guess it was more like an hour of upside in 10 minutes. So 10 minutes wiping out an hour of upside and hitting a new low of the day is a big red flag. That's when the market makers started having trouble keeping up with the orders. Anytime we saw big spikes in volume and big red candlesticks, they had to halt because they couldn't keep up. And then every time they reopened again, we saw a bounce, we saw a lower high form, and then another pullback. And that happened multiple times. Another dump and a halt, short-term bounce, pullback, another dump and a halt, short-term bounce. And the bulls did hold on a little bit at the end of the day. At the end there, looking at the hourly chart, we finally lost that 20-period moving average support. That has been support looking at the past 10 days for the past 9 days. And we lost that level, so it's now going to act as resistance. So there's all kinds of time frames we can be looking at for support and resistance levels, and it all depends on whether you're day trading, swing trading, or long term as to what you're looking at. If you're long term, you're looking at the daily and weekly. If you're swing trading, you're looking at the daily, the weekly, and the hourly. And if you're day trading, you're looking at the 5-minute, the hourly, and the daily. So tomorrow is going to be very telling, and the bulls want to hold the low today And that's pretty much where we stand. So I'm not going to be able to do these videos every day, but I will do them when I can. I'll get another one for this weekend, so we'll probably let the next 2 days play out, and then I'll do another update over the weekend. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.